أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters in Islam. Today we will be discussing the hadith number 36 of the 40 hadith from Jamal al-Din Zarabuzo's book. These are the hadith Qudsis, and the today's topic hadith it's a long hadith, but we'll be discussing only a part of the hadith due to the limitation of the time. I will read the Arabic part of the hadith first, and then we'll read the translation, and then we will discuss the hadith in detail. So the hadith, the Arabic part of the hadith goes by like this. On Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, on Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, قال من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب يوم القيامة ومن يسر على معسر يسر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة ومن ستر مسلما ستره الله في الدنيا والآخرة والله في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه ومن سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة وما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه رسوله بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله فمن عنده ومن بطأ به عمله لم يسرع به نسبه رواه Muslim. So it was a long hadith, but we'll discuss only part of the hadith, and I'll be doing the translation only for the first half of the hadith, which we'll be discussing. So the translation is on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased from him. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever relieves a believer's distress of the distressful aspects of this world, Allah will rescue him from a difficulty of the difficulties of the hereafter. Whoever alleviates the situation of one in dire straits who cannot repay his debt, Allah will alleviate his lot in both this world and the hereafter. Whoever conceals the faults of a Muslim, Allah will conceal his faults in this life and the hereafter. Allah is helping the servant as long as the servant is helping his brother. This hadith has been recorded by Muslim, by various hadith books such as by Muslim, Abu Dawud, Al-Tirmidhi, Al-Nasawi, Al-Kubra, Ibn Majah, Ahmad, Ibn Abu Shayba. So this is a very strong hadith, and it has been narrated with the chain with Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. So let's discuss the hadith in detail, and I will discuss the first part first. And the first part of this is whoever relieves the believer's distress of the distressful aspects of this world, Allah will rescue him from a difficulty of the difficulties of the hereafter. So the word for distress is used, and the word which is used for distress is kurba, and kurba in Arabic means something which distresses the soul and preoccupies the mind. And the relief is been mentioned by the word nafas, which is a root word, and the root word is tanaffus, and tanaffus means giving breath to someone who is about to suffocate. So meaning that you are relieving someone from the distress who is about to suffocate. So the the relief. So if Rasulullah is talking about, Allah is talking about relieving someone's distress in this world by several means. So if your Muslim brother is in distress from any difficult situation, and you try to relieve that person's distress, then Allah will relieve your distress on the day of judgment. The distress can be relieved in three different ways. Okay, so there will be one way is when you have somebody has wealth and uses the wealth to relieve the distress of the person of his brother. Second number would be if somebody has power and authority and uses that power and authority to relieve someone's distress, meaning someone is in need of a job, and you are an employer and you have a job and you can give the job to that person, meaning that you relieve that person's distress in that situation. And the third one would be if to have a knowledge about a person's problem. That if someone is going through a problem and you have a knowledge about that problem, and then you explain to that person and detail about that with your knowledge and relieve that person's difficult time, then you are relieving that person's distress in this world. So Allah is promising that if you relieve that person's distress in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will relieve your distress in the hereafter. And the method of distress that I discussed just before could be just by relieving the complete distress by using your power and your knowledge and your authority. And the second level would be just if you don't have the means of helping the person in that way, that you can just advise the person about the right kind of attitude or right kind of about the right solution for the problem. So advising someone about that problem is also relieving someone's distress too. And the third level would be that if you don't have any means of either helping that person out or relieving that person from or advising that person, then you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah ta'ala relieve that person's distress, and that will be the least category of the help which you can do. So helping your Muslim brother in any way is counted as relieving that person's hard time and difficult time, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you in the hereafter for that. Allah ta'ala has mentioned the relief in the hereafter, not in this world, and it is obvious that the distress of the hereafter is way more important, way more harder than the distress in this world. And who could be the best person? Who could be the best one to relieve the distress on the day of judgment? The owner of the day of judgment, Maliki Yawmiddin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner of the day of judgment, and if we are getting the assurity and the guarantee from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah will relieve your distress on the day of judgment if you help your Muslim brother in this world, what best is can be the assurity for a Muslim person in this world would be, and what and why will we not help our Muslim brother, because we will be getting the help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day. And by relieving a person's by relieving your Muslim brother in this world, you're not helping that person only, you're helping yourself, because you are assuring, you are guaranteeing a help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment with your action and with your deeds. The second part of the hadith is whoever alleviates the strait of a man in dire straits, who cannot repay his debt. Allah will alleviate his lot in both this world and in the hereafter. So, the simple meaning is that you help a brother, uh, if one of your brother has a lot of loan, a lot of big amount to pay, and if you help that brother pay his loan, his debt, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you on the day of judgment and will relieve your distress at that time. So, and the debt can be paid, and this debt can be interpreted in two different ways. First of all, is that you are the lender, and you lended some money to your brother, and the brother uh, has a time limit to pay this loan, and the brother is going through a very hard time and he cannot pay that loan back to you. So one way is to increase the duration or prolong the time for the brother to repay his loan. So that instead of if you have 6 months, you can increase it to a year, 2 years, or whatever the long time it needs for the brother, so he can get his money during that time and he can pay you back. The other method would be to either reduce the amount of the loan, or to completely take it off from the burden of your brother. This will be the best way to do that, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَأَن تَصَدَّقُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. But if you remit it, the debt, by way of charity, that is better for you if you but knew. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. And be afraid of the day when you shall be brought back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then every person shall be paid what he earned, and they shall not be dealt with unjustly. So relieving the debt, relieving your brother from the debt is one of the biggest way of earning the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. The third part of the hadith is whoever conceals the faults of a Muslim, Allah will conceal his fault in this life and in the hereafter. So it means that if you see one of your brother doing any sins or any bad things, and if you hide your brother's sins in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hide your sins and will hide your problem in the hereafter. Now the other hadith and of Rasulullah says that whoever conceals his Muslim brother's private affairs will have Allah conceal his private affairs in the day of resurrection, and whoever conceals his brother's Muslims' private affairs, Allah will also uncover his private affairs to the point that he will expose what occurred in his household. So if we conceal somebody's private affairs, if we try to hide people's private affairs, Allah will also hide our bad deeds and our sins on the day of judgment. But if we discuss our brother's private affairs openly in the public, Allah will discuss our private affairs openly on the day of judgment, on the day of resurrection. And what a shameful act will that be for us, that when Allah will expose all of our bad deeds and our sins. Now the sins can be of now what kind of sins should be concealed? There are two types. If someone is doing a sin which affects the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like someone is drinking and or stealing or gambling or so, then this thing, drinking or gambling, this is the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we can hide that from other people. But there's also a sin which involves the rights of the of the ummah and rights of the human beings. Like if someone is mixing impurities in his trade, or someone is stealing, or someone is not measuring to the amount which needs to be measured. This, as this affects the community, so the best way to do will that be, first of all, to tell the brother to and talk to him personally to not do this kind of sin. And if that brother does not stop from doing that, then that sin should be reported to the authorities. So this is the best way we can try to conceal somebody's sins in this world too. So as I said that if we try to avoid exposing people in public, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also avoid us avoid exposing ourselves in that day of judgment. This was just a part of the hadith. The hadith goes on for a long time, but because of the time constraint, we will be stopping over here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to learn from the teachings of the Quran and the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and implying all these teachings in our life. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also give us the life to see the next month of Ramadan, the next Ramadan in the next year, and give us the health to observe the fasting month of Ramadan next year, inshallah, and to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to get our sins forgiven and to get the reward of Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله رب العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.